Hi everybody, it's Christina and thank you for joining me. So today we're going to make this style of card, and this is a trellis card. Now this one has had the paper for the back created, but this one has used a pre-printed one, and I've just used ephemera on the front of this. For this I've added flowers and some butterflies. So let me show you how we're going to get this look. So for this card I have a piece of 5x7, and I've cut myself a lot of 1/2 inch strips, and these need to go all the way down the card. Now I've also got a piece of paper. This is a 160 GSM card, and on this I'm going to do the pattern that will go inside the card. So for this background I want lilacs and purples in the background, so I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use yet. But I've got Shaded Lilac, Dusty Concord, Wilted Violet and Villainous Potion. Now I've also got a smoosher, and this has been copied from Natalie Bauer's YouTube channel, and she makes some beautiful cards and shows you how to make this ink smoosher. Now I've also chosen some stamps, so I've got the butterfly from this section and I've got the script one from the bottom, so I'm going to be using those as well. So I'm going to start with the lightest ink first. I'm going to pop some down on my mat. I'm going to spritz this with some water and make sure it's well mixed in with my smoosher, and then I'm just going to add this in random areas across my card. Once I've done that, I can dry that off. Now with the ink that's left, I'm just going to spritz it with a little bit more water. I'm going to mix that in, and I'm going to just add some splatters to my card. And then I'm not going to waste what's left. I'm going to pick the rest of this up with some more card. And now we can clean up what's left on the mat and do the next colour. So I'm going to repeat this process now with some Dusty Concord. So we'll put some of that on the mat. We'll spritz that with a little bit of water. We'll mix it in and we'll add this to our card. So we'll dry that off, and then we'll add some of this in with the spatters. So I repeated that process with my Wilted Violet, but I seem to now have lost some of my Shaded Lilac. So I'm going to do that again with the Shaded Lilac. So we'll just add some more of this. And hopefully that will bring this to the fore a little bit more. And we'll add some splatters. And then we'll dry this stage off. So there's my card, and each time with the bits that I've got left, I've picked them up on another piece of card. So I can use that now to create flowers or butterflies, or use it as another background. But for now, let's go on to this. So for this one, we're going to use the Villainous Potion, and we're going to use the butterfly. So we'll just stamp this down now in random areas across this card, and have some of them coming off the paper. So there's our butterflies on our card now. Now with some dark ink I'm going to add some of the text stamp. So I'm not using a block, I'm just adding it with my fingers, and I'm just going to pop some down in random areas on my card. And again, it doesn't matter if it comes off the card. It just needs to be on there to add a little bit more decoration. Now as a final touch on this card, I've got some white gold here. So I'm just going to squirt that with a little bit of water. Make sure that my brush is clean. So we'll mix that colour in. And then with that brush, we're just going to splatter this card again. So we'll just add some splatter on there. Now I'm using quite a big brush because I want some big splatter marks on there. Now at the moment they don't show up, but once this is dry, that colour will show on the paper. So I'm just going to go away now and dry this, and then I'll show you the end result. So there is my card, and you can now see the pearly splatter marks on that. Now one portion of that is going to create the back for my card. So there's my piece of card, and I've added my glue to the back of it, and I'm now going to pop this onto the back, onto the piece of card that will be the back. So now with my back stuck in place, this piece of card is 5 inches, so I'm going to find the centre at 2.5 and make a little mark, and I'm going to do that top and bottom. And now this is where your strips come in. So you take your strips and you place one on the end and just to the right of your little mark, so it sits like that. And then the next one will go in along here from this end up to just to the left of that little mark at the top. And then this one will just go in the middle. And so I'm going to use a post-it note with a lot of the sticky taken off it, and that's just going to hold those in place there. Now you need a scoreboard for this, because you're going to now mark the back of those pieces. You need to hold them in place so that they stay where they are, and then you're going to flip them over. Place them on your scoreboard with the line at the score line, and all you're going to do is just score it. Now once they've been scored, they can be folded back. So once they've been folded back, you can flip it back over, and they're just going to get glued in place. And trim down this side. And then we're going to repeat this on the other side. So let's move this out of the way. So we need to come, move that further up. So we need to come just to the right of this top mark and down to this bottom corner. Then we need to come just left of this mark and up to the top corner. And then we're going to put one right in the middle. And once we've done that, we can hold those in place with another post-it note. And we can repeat the process of turning it over and scoring and gluing. So once you've got everything glued in place, I'm just going to tidy the back up. And this is also a 5x7 piece of card. So I'm just going to glue that in place, and that will tidy the back. So once the back's in place, I'm going to take the post-it notes off. And now we can just glue these down onto each other. So we'll keep that in the place where it should be, just along there, and then just under this we'll add a little bit of glue, and that's going to sit there. So we need some under the other pieces as well. and that will stay there. So we're going to repeat this with this one and this one. So to put that in position there, and this one will just go along there. So now they're all glued together and we can trim those off at the bottom. Now the reason I cut these extra strips was to strengthen the inside. So if you open it out, you can place these strips along here just to back up the ones that you've already got. But if you're quite happy with the strength of your card, then it's okay as it is. Now I've also stamped and coloured some leaves and some flowers that will go on the front of my card. And so these will be added along here. And then I'll add these other flowers in along the front. So I'll go away and glue these in place, and then I'll come back to you and we will add the sentiment. So with my flowers in place, I've added a little sentiment across the front, and that's my card now ready to send. It will stand on its own, and it's got a beautiful background panel to it. There's lots of space on the back to write your sentiment. And this is the other one that I've created. That's also got a hand created background. And this one is just made from designer card and ephemera. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please join me on the next one. And why not subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, then you'll always be aware when I add a new video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.